Hello, I'm Jennifer Krischer. I am the Vice President for Defense Intelligence with GDIT. I'm a retired Air Force intelligence officer with 25 years of service. As we know, the defense intelligence and the federal government is facing significant challenges, whether they be budgetary, cyber threats, or the enemy has a vote. Here at GDIT, we're looking at different ways to bring technology to help the government solve these problems. With me today are Garret and Kevin, who bring years of experience in federal government to their approach on how we leverage GDIT's technology. Garret, would you mind introducing yourself?
Sure. My name is Garret Yee, Vice President, General Manager of the Army and Defense Agency's sector at GDIT. I'm a retired Army Major General, or I might say a recovering General Officer.
Kevin?
Hi, I'm Kevin Seeley. I am Vice President, Strategic Programs for Military and Federal Health here at GDIT, and I'm the former Deputy Chief Information Officer of the Defense Health Agency.
So today we're going to talk about, again, technology and how we can leverage technology to help the government address some of their problems. And one of the things that's top of mind for me, having spent my last 4 years in the Air Force running the Air Force intelligence budget, is budgetary constraints and how we can use our technology and our experience to help the government do more with less.
Thanks, Jennifer. I appreciate that question. Since I came out of the Defense Health Agency, where budget challenges were first and foremost in a lot of the activities. And I think that's a trend we see across all of the government is budget challenges. And we saw the tech transfer from the last 50 years up into the late 00s. And then you saw industry take that tech transfer, move it into the private sector. And now the government wants some of that stuff back. As far as the budget is concerned, they want to get that better, faster, and cheaper. We do that through ways like artificial intelligence.
Sure.
Artificial intelligence provides a great way to actually do IT operations in an automated fashion. We can identify incidents before they happen. We can post predictive analytics and actually apply those predictive analytics to create a self-healing network and actually automate a lot of those processes within the IT operations.
Interesting. Garret, do you have anything to add to that?
Well, I do have some thoughts. And I spent the last several years in the federal space, in the federal government, working IT budgets. And the IT shop, the cybersecurity shop, is always a victim of budget reductions. And even a flat budget is actually a budget reduction because of inflation, right? Whether it's wage inflation or supply chain requirements, especially during COVID the past couple of years. So the world that we work in, that we live in here at GDIT, in the IT space, is a space that we need to be very mindful of in how we support our government customers. And with that, in my mind, anytime that we can help optimize the networks and systems for our customers really helps them with not only the budgetary constraints that they live within, but also to help make their networks more and systems more secure. And I'll lead you with a little bit of a zero trust teaser about how some of that helps.
Interesting. So from an Intel perspective, we think of zero trust as that need to know, right? So the data is what is being applied to the person. And zero trust is thinking of each individual's credentials being tied to the data that they have access to. So how then does zero trust help the government meet their budgetary requirements? And also, how are we leveraging our zero trust model? I guess, when we talk about Everest, zero trust is our digital accelerator that we're thinking about. How do we leverage that in the government environment, and how do we then take those lessons learned to other platforms?
I'll take a shot, then I'll pass it to Kevin, if you don't mind. The idea of trying to secure everything is impractical, right? So if you are able to, over time, get to a who needs to know, who needs that connection, what do you need to secure, what don't you need to secure as much based upon the threat, then over time, you're optimizing your systems and your network, right? And so that concept maybe at first seems a bit daunting to try to get to a zero trust framework, and GDIT does this very well. Over time, you're not trying to secure the whole world anymore.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a little more efficient.
Sure.
Kevin?
I think about all the identity and access management solutions that are out there and how we've talked about the promise of single sign-on, but these applications have to be integrated, particularly where I come from in healthcare. There has to be that integration. So as GDIT provides Zero Trust Accelerator, we allow that integration to happen. And not only that, we allow agencies to leverage the tools they've already invested in. So that's what I love about what GDIT has done, is they've created a platform on which the integrators can actually come in and we can actually integrate them. We listen to the investments that they've already made, and then we actually integrate those pieces into the Zero Trust framework.
I really love that, the consultative approach to this is the government's problem, this is what we know, how can we work together to piece together the right solution for that customer? I really love that. Did you have something to add?
I did. I want to, just expand on the concept of Zero Trust and the need to know and the importance of security. It's not just for the enterprise. It's not just for commercial and government federal spaces that you see big buildings. It's also for tactical and austere environments, whether it be for the DoD or not the DoD. We have lots of requirements around the world for both DoD and non-DoD communications where it needs to be secure. You need to be able to operate in a place where you don't have connectivity all the time. In the military, we call that DDIL, but really just think about anywhere in the world where you need to communicate. And humanitarian relief, even in the U.S., even a hurricane or a disaster hits somewhere in the U.S. and all comms are out, you still need to figure out how to communicate securely. And so the concept of Zero Trust extends also to that space as well.
Yeah, interesting. Kevin, you mentioned technical debt. Could you explain more what you mean by that and how it impacts your day-to-day or how you're approaching it?
Yeah, so going back on the technology transfer from the private sector back to the government, putting on my previous CIO hat in the government, I do want that technology back, but I'm latched to all of this legacy information technology, the stuff that I actually have to transfer. So that's why I really like what GDIT has done with our digital accelerators. It creates a framework and platforms that allow us to bring in those pieces, integrate them as part of a transition strategy for each of our government customers.
Interesting. As you were both talking, it occurred to me that as we're moving forward with all of this technology, the generation and the individuals, the people that have to implement this technology become ever more important, especially in a distributed environment where they're not necessarily connected to their IT back reach. How do we enable our up-and-coming generation? How do we enable our people to be ready for this technology?
Yeah, that's a great point, Jennifer. The technology is changing so quickly, and so staff and workforce has to change along with it. So having programs that help the staff develop those skills, keeping a pipeline, the technology has to be at forefront, and there has to be continuing education, there has to be continuing training, and there has to be a workforce development program. In addition to education programs and a pipeline of recruits that come in. GDIT also offers SkillBridge, and we partner with talent management to bring in that talent and actually keep that talent fresh as we bring in the next generation.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would say that's what I think is exciting about working at a place like GDIT, where you're in that IT cybersecurity space where our job as a company is to stay relevant to what we might call skate to the puck, right? Whether it's bringing technology through accelerators to a future need for our customers, or from a skills standpoint, prepping our employees and our workforce to be able to be ready for what's next. And what I think about the digital accelerators is that we have a number of areas, whether it be software factory or AI ops or Zero Trust, whatever it is, we have a number of these areas where our CTO organization has really leaned forward really into the future, 3 to 5 years out, so that when there's a need for this, not just today in the future, we will be there ready to support. Likewise, our workforce has to be able to get there as well. Yeah. And so when you have these waypoints out there to hit along the way, it gives our employees that ability to focus towards something. And when someone says, hey, what can I do to keep myself relevant in this space? Just take a look at any of our digital accelerators and start the self-study or formal study, however you want to do it, but there you have something to shoot towards.
Absolutely. I really love that. Thank you, gentlemen, for your time today. Thank you, everyone, for your time today. I really appreciate you taking time to learn more about what we do here at GDIT and our approach to technology and the digital accelerators. For more information, please go to gdit.com/perspectives. Thank you again for your time today.